SimRacing, Scuderia Ferrari Edition, the heart of the race.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round number 6 of the Formula SimRacing World Championship here from the Silverstone circuit. It's time for the British Grand Prix. My name is Felix from Delft, and I will be joined by Cameron and Rodger in the commentary booth.
Hello, and yeah, we are here at Silverstone, one of the best driving circuits on the calendar. It's one of the drivers' favourites. Very fast. We've got 3 DRS zones today, and I'm sure we're going to see a lot of action in this race. I saw some in practice, but I don't think most drivers will, because you need to have a bit of an understeery setup just to do that one corner when the rest of the track likes a bit of oversteer. So I doubt we'll see many drivers do it in the race, but maybe in qualifying for sure.
Right, so obviously the 2019 car, 933 brake horsepower, top speed of about 370 kilometers an hour, 74 kilos of weight, and 2 fuel mixtures, lean and a rich mix, and then 2 boost modes, the race and the qualifying boost. Qualifying boost is meant for qualifying only, can be used in the race, but only for about 10, maybe 20 seconds if you're lucky. But if you use it too much, you will blow your engine, and that's the end of your race. Now, season so far has been pretty okay for Jone Simoncic. Last race, obviously, 5 out of 5 at the French Grand Prix. Great result for Simoncic. Second place, Sander Callas. A bit of a, well, I wouldn't say surprise, but a nice result for the Networks Grand Prix driver. Has finished on the podium before, a few years back, or last year, I should say. But hasn't really consistently been able to be up there. But did so last race. Good job from him. And also a very good race from Jeffrey Fournier there. From Remila Simsport. who finished third. So great stuff for him. And then the standings, obviously, Simoncic with 125 points total, which is it 44 points more? No, it's even more. It's 54 points more than Jurne Simoncic, which is a massive gap to him. He can pretty much DNF twice, and he's still leading this championship. Pedar Brojak in second, Michele D'Alessandro. Bad race for Jean Alesi. Last race, both of their drivers DNF'd. Then Pansar in fourth and Gosby in fifth. ACR Blue definitely up there. Jeffrey Fournier in seventh, Callas in eighth, Kish in ninth, Michi Hoyer in 10th. He has unfortunately left the Avitronic Racing team. Will be replaced by Martin Gosby from this race onward, and David Mrocek will replace Martin Gosby in the ACR Blue team. So Michi Hoyer no longer racing here in Formula SimRacing, unfortunately. Then the team standings, obviously Avitronic Racing leading that championship by a big lead, and Avitronic Racing Blue behind them, and Edgy Sport in third after not a very great race at Paul Ricard. Now let's jump into qualifying. Let's see who is leading the timesheets so far.
Yes, so we've got Martin Gosby, as you say, stepping up into the main ACR team. He has put himself on pole position so far with their 126.2, which is by far the fastest time we have seen so far. And in second place is Jurne Simoncic. Surprise, surprise. But look at his tyres. He is on the soft compound tyre, which is the middle compound, and he's in second place, which is utterly ridiculous, which shows that Avitronic Racing have a lot of speed here as well today, because he is faster than everyone else who's on the super soft tyres apart from his teammate Martin Gosby.
Yeah, just so also improve this time another time.
Yes, his strategy is going to be very different, but he's going to be advantaged by the fact he's also currently starting in second place.
Yeah, definitely. So, interesting choice for Simoncic, but paying off so far. The drivers of Jean Alesi Esports Academy, Mohammed Patel, and the replacement driver Dylan Scrivens as Michele D'Alessandro is unfortunately unable to race today. But Mohammed Patel is about to start his qualifying lap. Still about 10 minutes left in qualifying, so most drivers have 2 attempts left. Let's have a look at Patel coming through turn 1. DRS open, flat out obviously. Heartbreaking for the first right-hander there. Now left through the arena section. Onto the power, he goes a bit of oversteer, but manages to keep it pretty much contained. DRS opens again. Down the Wellington straight they go. And then obviously Brooklands turning it in pretty early. Tried to hit that apex, but not too hard. And left field, it's a long right-hander. You have to have the patience to not go onto the throttle too early and lose the rear of the car. Nicely done there. Good exit by Mohammed Patel. Now down to Kops. Will be flat in 8th gear. In qualifying trim, in the race trim, the guys, goes wide a little bit onto the grass there. That will definitely not help his lap. Now, Maggots Beckett's first part is flat out. Then a shift down to 5th for Mohammed Patel. Out of Chapel, DRS open again down the hanger straight. Into Stowe they go then. A bit of smoke there from David Mrocek. Maybe scared of Patel a little bit. As the Invictus driver there gets out of the way. Mohammed Patel over the last curbs. Little bit of oversteer there. Down to the last corner, onto the back straight. Or the main straight. Let's see what he's able to do. On 27.6, obviously that mistake in Kops will not have helped him. And provisional last position for Patel so far.
Yeah, he's obviously not in a good position right now, but someone who is in a good position is Jos Araneda up there in P3 for the Ground Effect SimRacing team. They got their first points back at Montreal. Unfortunately, his teammate Arne Schoenvliet he hasn't raced for a few races, so Jos is on his own out there for that team. But he's doing well up in 3rd place, and then behind him in 4th and 5th are the 2 Ghost Speed cars, and Ghost Speed won both the Academy and the Pro Championship race earlier this afternoon. So Ghost Speed have definitely got some good pace here today as well. And then debutant for this year, Michael Ayres up in P7, taking that 2nd Invictus seat as well. So it's a slightly different order for quite a few teams today.
Yeah, as I was just watching Peter Brojak doing his lap, made a mistake down in Chapel. Definitely cost him his lap as well. As I see David Mrocek is on a purple first sector. Let's have a look. Second sector, also green for him. Might be able to put himself on the first 5 positions if he finishes this last couple of corners well. Onto the power. Let's see a bit of a twitch coming out of it, but seems to be okay. What is it going to be for Mrocek? P2 so far. Moves his sister teammate Jonas Simocic off the front row with a 126.454.
Yeah, Mrocek looks like he's going to give the slipstream back to Martin Gosby now onto this back straight as well. So this is the tactics we've seen from quite a few teams this season, using this slipstream method, and David will now pull off and give Martin Gosby a nice run down into the first sector. Now it's a purple first sector from Martin Gosby. So can he get his his first pole position since Monza 2017? So almost 2 years ago since his last pole position in the World Championship. He's certainly looking good for that so far. 2.5 tenths out in pole at the moment. And he's coming into this awesome section of Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel. First one's easily flat out. 1 downshift and then another downshift again. Very quick through these corners. You have no slipstream, but he's already made up a lot of time. What can he do in the second sector? Purple again in the sector. This is going to be a good lap from Martin Gosby. He's just got 3 corners to go. Round Stowe, very quick 6th gear, right-hander. Now, this is the critical bit. One of the only slow corners on the track where you can lose time. 4th gear, then up into 5th, and then looking to open your DRS. Can he extend his pole position? No, he didn't improve. He did not improve in that final sector. But will Jerne Simicic improve? He's still on these soft tyres in P3. Can he improve? Yes, he can. Wow, Jerne Simicic P2 on the soft compound tyres.
10th between him and Gosby.
Yes, that is... I just can't explain how amazed I am at this pace. A 0.3, no slipstream on the soft tyres.
Yeah.
What?
Amazing pace by Jerne Simocic at this part of the season. No one really able to match his pace at the moment. Jos Araneda is about to finish his qualifying lap. Improved himself in the second sector. Let's see what he is able to do in the last sector. I think he abandoned his lap there. Yes, he did. So wasn't able to improve. I think he has 1 attempt left. I think so. As there's 4 minutes left in the session. Simocic also going out for a last attempt. Peter Brojak right now on P8. Just did a not too bad first sector. About the same as the top 5. Now the second sector is also not the best. Needs to get a really good last sector if he wants to get his car up onto the top 5. Let's see what he's able to do. Coming out of the last corner, opening the DRS. Improves into P7, splitting the Ghost Speed drivers of Brakchuk and Lukasek.
And right now, those 2 drivers, 2 Ghost Speed drivers, they are giving each other slipstream on this back straight. But Brakchuk, interestingly, completed his lap, and he's now done basically a whole other lap to give his teammate slipstream. So he would have had to carry another couple of litres of fuel on his lap, which is potentially hindering him by a couple hundredths. But now we'll see where Lukasek comes. He's done a couple of personal bests. This should be an improvement from the Polish driver. And and he goes 3rd place. Wow, he goes 3rd place. Just in front of David Mrocek, and then Sander Kallas popped up there on that last lap as well into P5. He's still got 1 attempt left as well.
Yeah, very, very nice lap from Lukacek there as well. With a bit of help. Simicic about to start his final attempt. Let's see. Who knows? Who knows? He might be able to put it on pole position. If he puts it on pole position with the harder compound compared to the 9 drivers behind him, I don't know if we will see him at any point in this race. He probably lapped the whole field.
Well, we'll have to wait and see what happens. It's obviously an interesting strategy if he can make it work. The soft tyres will be ever so slightly slower, but they should be a bit more consistent in that first stint. So I have to see what he's trying. Might be trying a one-stop strategy, but we will get to that later on. Most drivers are now building up to their final lap. And who is this? We've got the Robin Panzer, also on the soft compound tyres. He is down in 12th place, got slipstream from his teammate Davin Mocek. Robin got a P2 last time out as his best result in WC so far. This is his debut year in WC, 3rd season in Formula Sim Racing. Where can he put himself on those soft tyres? He doesn't improve.
Simic is getting a slipstream from Gosby down the hanger straight. This will definitely help him. Let's see, coming into Stowe. Good line through there, a little bit on the edge, but very, very close. Now last 2 corners. What is it going to be for Simicic? Not an improvement in the second sector, but this last sector could make him just get that edge on Gosby coming into the last corner. No, it
doesn't improve.
Still, P2, not a bad position to be in on the softer tyre. Or the harder
Davin Mocek, his first sector was in fact just quicker than what Jurnej Simicic just did. He is currently in 4th position. He's just got... he might get a bit of slipstream from that Ghost Speed if Ghost Speed doesn't get out of the way as well. Or even then he might even be hindered a little bit. Oh no, he won't be. So he is coming into this final sector now is Davin Mocek. As his first race being promoted, he's done a personal best as well in this middle sector.
10th off though, 10th off of Simicic.
Yeah. Wow, Simicic, a 10th quicker in the middle sector, which is all about the corners on the harder tyre. Still cannot get over that, but Mocek now all over those curves. Yeah, lost time there. But who is making an improvement?
Costa was on a purple second sector, but must have made a mistake somewhere, as he just abandoned his lap coming into the pit lane, so he won't be improving. Sander Callas was stopping the timesheets in practice, so far not able to really show his pace. First sector, okay, 23.975, hits the curb, and that's end of his lap. It's the inside curb of Kops, and there must,
Someone who currently hasn't set time is Kirill Burakov. Had an awesome race back in Baku, when Invictus certainly looked good in all divisions. Had a really good race last time out as well, but couldn't quite make his tyres last to keep the position towards the end of the race. But currently, today, he hasn't set a lap time yet. And this will be his last attempt to come across the line. Currently in 20th position. Where can he put himself? P13. P13. And he's obviously not happy with that.
Peter Brojak on a lap. I think he got hindered there by his teammate. Either Dylan Scrimmins or Patel, it looked like, or it might have been another car, but it looked like he was very, very close to hitting him and lost 2/10 pretty much in Sector 2. And I don't think he will be improving his lap time. Fournier is the last driver after this to be on the lap. Peter Brojak doesn't improve, and Fournier also abandoned his lap already, so unfortunate for Brojak is in P10, arguably the worst position to be in, as you have to start on your qualifying tires. The drivers right behind you are able to choose a different tire, perhaps a better tire, at least strategy-wise. Anyway, Martin Godsby on pole position here, the newly promoted British driver up to Avid Chronic Racing, the main team, and puts himself onto the pole position. Simicic next to him on the soft tire. This is going to be a very, very interesting race. Make sure to keep tuned in. Stay tuned in. Maybe grab yourself a cup of coffee. We will be back in about 5 minutes time So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Hey man, I got that new TMX Thrustmaster wheel. It's going down.
Xbox One?
I can't wait to play when I get home.
You'll let me play?
Yeah, after I play first. Yeah.
You know, I'll race it for it.
Well, I have a hand.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to round number 6 of the Formula SimRacing World Championship here from the Silverstone circuit, the British Grand Prix. My name is Felix van Delft, and once again I'm joined in the commentary booth by Cameron. We are getting ready to start this race. Only a few minutes left in the warm-up session, and the drivers are pretty much ready to start these 52 laps of a race around the Silverstone track. Cameron, what tires do we have available today here?
So the tyres for today are the super soft, the soft, and the mediums, red, yellow, and white. We also have the ultra soft, which is pink, and the hards, which are orange, but we are using the middle 3 today, which is a little bit tight. I mean, this track possibly could be the soft, the medium, and the hard, but then everyone would just be going for a one-stop. So to spice it up, we're gone with the super soft, the soft, and the mediums. So the super softs really aren't going to last too long, especially on the fuel that the World Championship drivers have. I mean, I doubt many cars will be going much further than 10, maybe 11 laps, and then we will see drivers pitting either the soft or the mediums. The mediums are very consistent, but obviously they are slower, so you have to try and work out where you're going to come out in the pit stop and where you want to use your tyres.
Yeah, so we're going to have to wait and see what's going to happen. Simocic obviously on that soft tyre, the harder compound compared to everybody around him. Let's see what he's able to do. I would expect him to go at least 6 laps longer than any of his close rivals. And then perhaps do a stop less than the rest. Could be possible one stop, I guess, if he goes very long on the soft.
I do think that's what he's trying. I could just feel it, because I don't know why else he would want to do that. I mean, yes, he has the pace for it clearly, but I don't know. It's a bit more risky on these soft compound tyres. That's all. Because you have obviously less grip, and then at the start he'll get a worse start because the soft tyres have less grip, so we'll have to see how it works out.
Yeah, definitely we do. As the warm-up session has just ended, it's just the waiting game now for the drivers to start lining themselves up onto the qualify or the starting grid, sorry. Simocic is doing a few practice starts in the pit lane here on the soft tires. I guess he's not used to starting on them too often. And most of the times is we use the super soft for that. I think we only had it one track where we had the soft as the softest, right?
Yeah, the ultra softs have only been at Montreal because that is mainly a rear limited track, so it helps the tyres be a bit more soft.
Right, so drivers lining up on their grid slots right now. We can now also see what drivers are using what tyres. It seems like everybody is on the mediums except a few on the softs, obviously outside of the top 10, except Simocic. But it seems like most of these drivers are using the mediums as we just wait for the formation lap to really get underway. Cameron, could you please take us through the rest of this grid?
So there were no grid penalties today, so the grid is as you saw in qualifying, with Martin Gosby and his teammate Jerne Simocic on the front row. Not only are they leading this race, but they're also leading the constructors, so that is good for them. Obviously Simocic starting on the soft compound as well. And behind we've got Wojciech Lukasek, and then David Mocek, an all Polish second row. Then Sander Kallas for Netrex, and Jos Araneda, good qualifying for him, up into 6th place. Got podium sitter last time out, Geoffrey Fournier, alongside his teammate Ricardo Costa, who are having a pretty decent debut season in the World Championship for Oromia GP. Then we have Janos Braksok, who dropped down a bit in qualifying to 9th place, and then Petr Berliak, who is not quite on the pace today in P10. P11, we got the first of the drivers who can choose what tyres they want. and it is Michael Ayres for Invictus, filling in that second Invictus seat finally. So Invictus now have 2 drivers. And we've got Danny Van Der Neat starting 12th, but on those super soft compounds, so look for him making some moves. Robin Panzar P13 got second last time out, but did an alternate strategy, but couldn't quite make it work like Simoncic in qualifying. Then Kirill Burkov, bit disappointing in 14th place. He had a good race last time out as well. Got flight flags. Reserve driver Eric Andre filling in for Payop even 15th. Muhammad Patel, not good qualifying for him, down in 16th, our 2017 world champion. Then Stephen Michaels down in P17. Giordano Valeriano, the only Frammy Autosport car to date with no Yuri Kazdorp. Then Daniel Kish down in P19, and Dylan Scrivens filling in for Michele D'Alessandro in P20.
Right. So, an interesting grid. A few quick drivers like Mohammed Patel and Daniel Kish down the bottom of the field in the last couple of positions. Will be interesting to see what they will be able to do during this race. Then obviously also Wojciech Lukacek and David Mrocek at the top of the field, 3rd and 4th. So they might be able to surprise us a little bit. But obviously Simoncic is the one to look at. 5 wins so far out of 5 races. Let's see if he's able to take his 6th win from P2 on the grid on the soft compound tires. Will be a very, very interesting race. Indeed, today as we await the lights to come on. As the lights are coming on, we have 5 lights, and a round 6 of the Formula SimRacing World Championship is on the way. It's a good start for David Mrocek, already side by side with Wojciech Lukacek. Simoncic tucks in behind Martin Gosby coming into turn 1. Mrocek still side by side, no, already in front of the driver. Sander Callas also side by side with José Araneda. A few drivers bouncing off the track there. José Araneda right up the rear wing of Sander Callas right now, a bit further behind. I think Petr Brojak has had a decent start into, up to P8 already, so good start for him. 3 wide almost coming into Brooklands. Mohammed Patel there together with Giordano Valeriano, I think. Janos Braksuk as well, side by side with Patel coming through Lovefield. Patel on the medium tires, Braksuk on the super softs. I think Braksuk had a bad start and dropped down from inside the top 10.
Yeah, there was a crash at the back, I think involving Costa, Patel. I think Andre got some contact as well. So yeah, not the best start for the back. There's quite a bit of contact, but everyone seems to be going still. And there was another car that spun around, which I think was Ricardo Costa, but he is still going in 18th place. But for the most part, everyone is still going, and it looks like a fairly clean start.
It does indeed. Lukacek is getting some pressure from José Araneda and Sander Callas behind him. Callas, I've said it before in the qualifying session, was pretty quick in the practice session. Just wasn't able to really show that in the qualifying session. Perhaps in the race he'll be able to show a bit more. Finished 2nd last race, so definitely a quick driver that might be able to do something here today. Now Simoncic, his task right now is just to keep up the pace, keep up with Martin Gosby. He has a bit of a roadblock, or I wouldn't say roadblock, but a bit of a defense behind him in David Mrocek that can defend a bit harder against Lukacek and Sander Callas if his tires prove to be a little bit slower than the rest. Obviously, it is the harder compound, so he has less grip than any of these drivers around him.
Yeah, so it's a good start for Danny Van Der Neat, who got ahead of Michael Ayres. Danny Van Der Neat starting in 12th on those super soft tyres, so he didn't have to because he could have chosen his tyres, but he isn't stuck behind anyone on these slower tyres, so that is a good start from him. He got 2 Invictus cars in P10 and P11, which are the first cars on alternate strategies, so we will need to see what they can do as we see the first round of pit stops later.
Yeah, also Dylan Scrivens, not a bad start for him. Up to P14 from P20. Decent for the Jean Alesi eSport driver. Want a little bit more, obviously, as they have a lot of points to gain compared to Everett Chronic Racing.
Yeah, so John and Lacey are P4 in the Constructors' Championship with 82 points. So they are about 62 points already off ACR, so they really need to turn their season around if they want to challenge for the higher up positions.
Right, so the train... Ooh, I hear something has happened somewhere. Heard a crash, maybe just...
It could be one of the bollards
Right.
on the apexes.
Valeriano under pressure from Janos Brakczak, who's on the softer compound, the super softs. Everybody has the DRS here, first lap, to have that available.
Yeah, we got the third DRS zone this year in turns 1 and 2, which will help potentially help a bit of overtaking into turn 3. But you can't really take turn 1 and 2 flat out with DRS, especially with heavy fuel. So you need to watch out for drivers just closing that DRS momentarily as they go through the apex of turn 1 and possibly turn 2 as well. But hopefully that will bring some overtaking into turn number 3.
Now Gosby leading the race with about a second between him and Jurnej Simoncic. Is to be expected, of course, that Gosby is a little bit quicker than Jurnej Simoncic, as he obviously has the better tire. But I guess we would see Gosby pit around lap 10, maybe a little bit later, maybe a little bit earlier. And Simoncic go on for at least another 5 laps, maybe even more. And maybe Simoncic does a stop less than the rest, which we at least expect him to do. You never really know with electronic racing. They tend to surprise us with strategies that really work out at the end of the race. So it's just a waiting game to see what they will do here today at Silverstone.
Yeah, I think we'll be seeing most drivers, at least from the top 10, do the super soft, then the medium, and then the medium again, because the medium, as I said in the warm-up, are very consistent and you can push on them. But we will potentially see Jurnej Simoncic do a one-stop, but it depends what the pace is, because if he really has to, because he doesn't want to be swamped by all these cars behind, because then he'll just be losing time. And if he has to push a bit too much, then he will wear the tyres too much to do a one-stop.
Bidikov behind his new teammate, Michael Ayers. These guys, I guess, want to work together a little bit. Both in or very close to the top 10, very close to points. Bidikov has the better tires compared to Ayers, so let's see what he's able to do. Bidikov very close to the edge of the exit curve there down at Abbey. Able to keep the car in check. Keep it pointed in the right direction. Now Peter Boljak, who had a decent start up to P8. Starting to close in a little bit to Jeffrey Fournier. But pretty much all of the drivers have DRS available, only a few that do not. So it's very difficult to find the spot to overtake. Obviously, the drivers have a boost mode available, qualifying boost, but they can only use that for a few seconds during the entirety of the race. There's still 50 or 48 laps to go. So I guess they wouldn't want to use too much of it this early in the race.
Yeah, that's generally when you're making an overtake that is really important, or in fact defending. But it's not really supposed to be used in the race, which is why it has such high wear, and you can only use it for a few seconds, and I would assume most drivers will be keeping it for a more important time in the race. But if we look at the, even the second sectors, all these drivers are within a few tenths of each other, and for the most part they will be trying to keep in their DRS and playing the long game, because there's no point burning your tyres now if in 20 laps time you'll be disadvantaged by the strategy or something like that. As we saw in the Pro and the Academy race earlier today, the first pit stop is very crucial because the super softs last so little time compared to the mediums. If you don't make that gap and you get caught up in the traffic, you can literally lose 10 seconds to another car if you get caught up in traffic or not after the pit stop.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very close, this whole field. All the 20 drivers are very close to each other. And the pit stop delta isn't that big here at Silverstone because you cut that basically the whole last 2-3 corners. You cut that with the pit lane. So the pit stop delta is only about, what is it, 18 seconds or something?
Something about that, yeah.
So, pretty much if Gosby would pit now, he would rejoin behind Steven Michaels with another 6 seconds to go. So, in the pit stop phase, I guess we would see a lot of drivers catching up to a lot of traffic. And like you said, it's very difficult to handle with that. Obviously because the track is also not the easiest for overtaking. As we see, I think in front there, it's Dylan Scrivens. No, somebody else trying to look for an overtake. Perhaps it was Lukacek. But all the drivers now are just focusing on their driving, trying to make sure to not make a mistake. But because if you make a mistake right now, if you go onto the grass, you lose easily 3, 4, maybe even more positions.
So behind Danny Van Den in P9, who is the last driver on the Superstars, we've got Kirill Birkov, who's overtaken his teammate Michael Ayres. But there's now a little gap starting. So this is where, this is what I was talking about a couple of laps ago, these top 9 drivers need to think about how far up the road they get before making their pit stop. Because once this gap starts increasing and the slower tyre runners are dropping back a bit, they will go right into their pit window. Although at the moment, it will be a clear track if you make a pit stop. But over the next few laps, that will obviously increase a little bit more. Fastest lap so far was Martin Gosby, but that was quite a few laps ago now. And in actually the last lap, for everyone in the top 9 was all within 0.2 of a second of each other. So it is a very closely matched field.
It definitely is. Martin Gosby is deciding the pace right now. Still leading this race.
Costa. Ricardo Costa is the first man in the pit at the end of lap 7. However, he did have that spin, so he would have lost quite a bit of tyre wear from that. So that would help this earlier pit stop. He'll be taking the medium tyres. If he does 2 mediums from here, he can make it to the end, so that shouldn't be too difficult on strategy. He'll just be slightly slower at the end of each stint compared to everyone else around him. But now that he's in clean air, do whatever pace he wants, and he might actually be able to make an undercut work on some of these drivers.
Might be able to indeed.
Last lap around, purple sector, or purple lap even, Kirill Birkov. I said that gap was increasing, but now that Birkov has got past his teammate Michael Ayres on the medium tyres, Birkov has caught up onto the back of his train. But he is the same as Simicic on those soft compound tyres. If he goes longer into this race, that might benefit him later on. Maybe doesn't have to use 2 sets of mediums, for instance, which means his overall race time should be a bit quicker. And he's now right in the DRS zone of Danny Van Den.
Now we've seen Birkov do a relatively decent first stint, or well, I would say a good first stint. He led a lot of the race in Canada. Or was it Canada? Paul Ricard, yeah, sorry. He led a lot of the race in Paul Ricard because of a very good first stint, but wasn't really able to make it work after that in the second and third stints, or somehow the strategy wasn't really on point. In Canada he did put 2 super soft or 2 at least softest compound tires after each other, when he maybe should have gone for a harder compound and only 1 stint and then lose less time compared to the rest of the drivers. So Invictus a bit they're showing their potential definitely with Kirill Burikov being at the top spots and getting points. But not really taking every little bit out of the performance of the car and perhaps the driver with a strategy.
Yeah, the main thing about the World Championship compared to Pro and Academy is the consistency. You'll see these WC drivers, they will just go lap after lap after lap after lap, putting in the laps until the very end of the stint. Where in the lower categories, you may see that as the stint goes on, the consistency starts going away a little bit. And that's why right now you see, the field is very close, But after the next pit stop, you'll start to see the gaps eke out a little bit more, because that's when the consistency at the end of the stints really comes into it.
Callas trying to have a look at Wojciech Lukacek, who goes into the pit lane. Same goes for Jeffrey Fournier and Danny van der Niet. So it seems that the pit stop winner really has opened right now. Callas staying out for now. Has a bit of a gap to the cars in front of him now. Perhaps a bit of a mark for him to start pushing a bit more to try and not have too much of an undercut happen to him by the other drivers behind him.
Yeah, these drivers pitting lap 9. That is, that should be fine because they have 43 laps, so 22 and 21 lap stints to medium tyres, I would assume is what they're doing.
Here we go, Burjak. Sorry to undercut you there. Around the outside of Brooklands. Saraneda leaving the space. Left field, of course, is going to be the inside for Peter Burjak right now. Seems a move done for him. Yes, it is. Gets a good exit as well, so doesn't need to worry about Araneda coming into cops. Araneda does need to worry about Kirill Burikov, who is right on his tail as well. Who might want to take the opportunity to get past him down the hangar straight. Like we said before, Burikov on the soft compound, so can probably go a few laps longer than these guys. Araneda probably has enough speed down the straight to fend off Burikov for now. I guess Araneda might be coming into the pit lane. Let's see who else comes into the pit lane. I think that's Peter Burjak as well. No, he's not. So
Sander Callas.
Yeah, Callas.
And Giordano Valeriano behind them. Valeriano on the soft compound tyres, pitting end of lap 10. That doesn't sound good for his tyre wear. However, let's see. Callas pits on the mediums, and Jos Araneda just stopping now. His pit box is further down. He is mediums as well. So I think this is what we'll see as a super soft medium, and then probably medium again strategy. Possibly softs, depending on how their tyre wear is.
Yeah, let's see. Araneda rejoins just behind Danny van der Niet.
So undercut. Yeah. Nice little undercut there from Danny van der Niet. That's what you get by stopping early and using those fresher tyres to do a quicker outlap than the other person's in-lap. Obviously no refueling allowed, so there's no differential in the fuel, it's just those brand new tyres.
Somebody in the chat is asking if the engines are reliable or if they just blow up from abuse of transmission and quali mode. They definitely do blow up. So if the drivers do the downshift too quickly, for example, rev the engines too high, they will have more wear on the engine. And also if they use more qualifying boost, the engine will wear more. So at some point, the engine can just blow up. And that's the end of your race.
Gosby in. Mocek, Gosby and Burlak all in. End of lap 11. So this puts Yerny Simoncic out in the lead on his soft compound tyres. And Gosby just gets in front of Burlak. He is on the mediums as we expected. Mocek pitting now. I would assume mediums as well. Yep. And Burlak also. So mediums are the tyre of choice as we assumed. And where do they come out? Gosby. Yes, nice clear track. He's got quite a few seconds up the road to Stephen Michaels. So that is very good from Martin Gosby. That is a nice pit stop from him. Same with Mocek as well. And Lukacek is now there behind them. So that was a good stop from the ACR boys.
Yeah, Burjak has rejoined right behind Danny van der Niet. Probably will be able to get past him here down the straight with the DRS. Yeah, Danny doesn't really defend as well. He knows this is not really his race to race, is it though? does keep his nose in there a little bit down in left field. Jossa Raneda are right behind him as well, starting to put pressure. A bit of oversteer there from Van der Niet, the Dutch driver. Now has to watch out for Jossa Raneda, who's looking to make a move, maybe into Kops. No, decides to wait a little bit. The dirty air now coming into play. Has to back off a little bit as the downforce of the car becomes a bit less if you're right up the gearbox of the car in front of you.
All the Supersoft tyre drivers have made their pit stop, and we can now see how the strategies are going to play out, because all of this top 9 are still out there, and they're going to stay out there for probably another 8 laps or so. So this could be a bit frustrating for Martin Gosby when he catches up to the 2 flag cars of Eric Andre and Stephen Michaels, because he is going to need to make some overtakes to try and avoid losing time to Jernej Simoncic. And let's see what Jernej Simoncic is doing. So he is still doing mid 1 minute 32s, and we don't have a lap time from Gosby yet. But in terms of sector times, he is quicker actually. So Gosby is undercutting Simoncic a little bit here.
Yeah, Kalash did 31.6. He is on the new stint. So I guess that's around the pace that we would be looking at. Kalash is though a little bit in traffic still, so maybe they can go even quicker.
And my assumption is that Jernej will try a one-stop strategy, because softs probably last easily 15 laps. So if he can push that to 20 laps, then that is 32 on the mediums. We saw 29 laps in the pro race on the mediums, so I think Jernej is pushing for that. But we will have to see how it goes.
Yeah.
Kirill Birkov pits from the soft tyres after only 13 laps, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we've seen Birkov before have a little bit more tyre wear than most of his rivals. Now Kish, he is getting pretty close to Robin Panzer, who's also not having the best race so far. Or has Panzer already pitted? No, he hasn't. So Panzer also down the field and now on the sandwich of Mohamed Patel and Daniel Kish. I think Kish is a bit too far back now to really do anything, and has to watch out for him, and Eric Andre behind him as well. Simoncic, the last driver on the soft tires. The rest of the field all on the medium tires. It is just a waiting game now to see when Simoncic is coming in for his new set of tires.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what Martin Gosby is going to do, because being teammates, I would assume he knows what Simoncic's strategy is, and considering that Simoncic has such a lead in the championship, he doesn't need to help him per se. So I do wonder if Gosby is going to go for this himself. And in the back we've got Jossa Raneda trying to go around the outside of Danny Van der Niet in Stowe corner. That is a lovely move if he can make a stick in. Yes, he can. What a move by the Chilean driver Jossa Raneda around the outside. It's only for P16 at the moment, but obviously there are drivers further up the field still needing to make a pit stop. So that is around net P6, I think, or P5 for Jossa Raneda.
Yeah, Dylan Scriven's close to Michael Ayers now. I think he might be able to make a move coming into Brooklands. The replacement driver for reigning world champion Michele Alessandro side by side pushes Michael Ayers slightly wide, but I think that's all within racing room. And Scriven's now going into P2 of the race, but effectively, obviously, that is not exactly his position. Go ahead.
I just clicked on Simoncic and he went really wide in Kops corner, old turn 1. I wonder if his tyres are starting to go off. I'm going to grab a quick replay to see if that was just a driver error. And yeah, he just went on the grass on the outside, so could be a sign that his tyres are starting to go off.
Stays out though.
Yeah, because, well, if he is only making one more pit stop, and Gosby is as well, then he has a 15-second buffer behind him. And Gosby now is getting past the first of the back markers. He's getting past Stephen Michaels for P8, but that was not too difficult for him. So he isn't losing time just yet. Obviously, if Gosby is making another pit stop, he does need to catch up Yene on track. Who's crashed? Who has crashed? That is a Kirill Burkov.
Burkov, oh.
And someone's lost their front wing. Who's lost their front wing?
Burkov has his front wing still.
No, Jos Araneda. Jos Araneda has lost his front wing
yes.
in a contact with Kirill Burkov, and Burkov is retiring as well. So I don't know if you want to try and get a replay of this.
Let's have a look if we can see what happened there between the drivers. Was it a lag spike or something? Burkov going slow into club corner.
Burkov, did his pedals die?
Let's look at that again from his onboard. Maybe his brake? No.
It looked like he was almost letting Petter through.
Very weird. No idea what's happening there with Burkov and Jos Araneda. Because his pedals, well, he's accelerating and he's braking, so almost looks intentional or something, but let's not jump to conclusions too soon. Let's wait for the race stewards to judge that at the end of the, well, after the race, I should say.
Yeah, that is very unfortunate for Jos Araneda. Nothing he can do, and he's still trying to get back to the pit lane. Although that will be no points for him today. Points only go to P10 in the World Championship. That is how difficult it is. You've got to get into the top 10. And as we saw in qualifying, how close it is for the mid-pack of this field. You really have to push hard to get into those points, and that will be none for Jos Araneda, which is a shame because he really had some good pace today. But it isn't to be. And Dylan Scrivens has started to catch Yene Simčić. Yene is now into the 33s. Yeah, the last two laps in the 33s, Yene Simčić, so he must be going for the one stop because he's only got another 3 more laps to go on these tyres, and then he can make it to the end, I would say, considering how far he would be pushing the tyres. Yeah, he's got a lot of understeer though. He still has a 13-second buffer to Gosby though. So far, this, what we think is one-stop strategy, is working out.
Yes.
Okay, so where is... Oh, so Gosby hasn't actually got past an Eric Andre yet, so he's only got past one of the people who has stayed out, which is Stephen Michaels, who is actually making a pit stop after 17 laps on those medium compound tyres. I would assume if he can only do 17 laps, he's probably going to another set of those mediums as well. So it's now the top 7 who haven't made a pit stop yet. Last lap, one of the fastest guys on track was David Mocek, who has actually caught up Gosby a little bit since their pit stop. But for now, he's half a second behind and he is just sitting there for now. I'd say Dylan Scrivens is doing pretty well in P2. Having not really done much practice and not really knowing that he was going to be racing.
Ooh, and Eric Andre off the track.
And not Gosby, Panzar as well. Panzar was off the track. So maybe these medium tyres coming towards the end of their life as well. Obviously starting on the higher fuel load does kill the tyres a little bit longer. Yane trying to do about 32 laps to the end. He's already pushing it, but he will obviously be on less fuel by the time he gets to that point. And Gosby now is getting very close to Andre. He's going to have to start thinking about how he's going to get through this traffic and how it will affect his battle with David Mocek.
Mohammed Patel getting close to Michael Ayres now. Perhaps might be able to make a move down the Wellington straight here, opening up the DRS. Ayres has no DRS. I think it's going to be an easy move for Patel up the inside of Brooklands. Second time this has happened to Michael. But doesn't really defend too hard.
Yeah, this is Michael Ayres' first race this season, and in fact he only did one race for Breslin in Monza last year as well. So he hasn't really done much FSR driving the last 2 years, and the car didn't change too much from this year to last year. So the last car that he would have driven in FSR was back when we had the 2009 based mod in 2017. So he's still getting used to these tyres, having only signed, I think it was only earlier this week as well, so he wouldn't have done the same amount of practice as other people, so he's still getting used to these tyres, and as you can see he's already dropped a couple of seconds from Dylan Scrivens, who overtook him about 7 laps ago or so. They're still not doing too bad, being the third runner in this mid-pack.
Right, so 20 laps almost done.
So Martin Gosby now is going to be getting past an Eric Andre, I think, down into Brooklands. Oh no, Gosby doesn't force the issue on the brakes. I thought an Eric was almost letting him through with closing the DRS a little bit early. But Gosby is still there. Sorry, what were you saying about Simchich?
Still staying out. 20 laps to be expected, of course. Gosby, his lap times aren't that great compared to Simoncic. Only about half a second some laps, but also for example last lap only 2/10 quicker than Simoncic. If he wants to get to the end of the race with another stop, he needs to gain more time on him.
Yeah, he's just getting held up by these. Oh, Simoncic in. End of lap 19, so this will be 20 laps completed, which is what my guess was. So if he goes mediums, I think this is going to be 32 laps to the end. He is going to come out around Jeffrey Fournier at P12, I think. So we will see where that... Oh, and Kish, Andre, Scrivens, they're all coming in after 20 laps, but they were on the mediums, and Simoncic was on the soft compound tyres. So yes, where does... Simoncic come out? Actually, Burlak's got him as well. Peter Burlak has got him as well. So Simoncic is P10 on track. I think there's 3 cars. So he's P7 on the road. But obviously the cars around him will be making another pit stop at some point, probably in about 10 laps time, when he is going to be going to the end. And in the background, Giordano Valeriano gets past Danny Vandeney, but runs wide, and Vandeney gets the place back. This is interesting. I definitely think it's a one-stop now from our championship leader, Jerne Simoncic.
Question is, the drivers that haven't pitted yet, Mohammed Patel, Michael Ayres, Robin Panzer, what are they going to do? Are they going to try and go longer? They're all on the medium tires. If they do another, I would say 7-8 laps, they might be able to take softs and go to the end. It's a long stretch on the softs though, but
I think
plausibly possible. Yeah.
Maybe instead of doing double mediums, Patel pits, but maybe instead of doing double mediums and then supers, they're going to do medium soft or something like that, or medium soft supers.
Perhaps, yeah.
Something like that, because I think they would have already pitted by now if they were doing double mediums.
Yeah, let's see Patel out on the mediums. So doesn't have the confidence in the car right now to really push on a set of softer compound tires. He rejoined right behind Janos Brachok and right behind Dylan Scrivens. Michael Ayres and Robin Panzer are battling right now with Martin Gosby right up their tail. Gosby obviously sister teammates with Morcek and Panzer. So they would probably try to help him slightly as Gosby goes up the inside of Michael Ayres. Not much resistance of the Invictus driver. Or is there?
Oh, Morcek tried to get through there as well. Michael Ayres was having none of that into some of the fastest corners. We have Michael's actually gone off, which means I think Morcek will get past him down this straight because there's no reason for Michael to defend that hardly, and he hasn't. So I would say Michael is pitting this lap. Yes, he is. So that is everyone apart from Panzer has made a pit stop so far, at least at the top. Actually, no, in the whole field. Panzer is the only one who hasn't made a pit stop yet. Could he be doing the reverse to Yerne?
Michael Ayres shifting up down in the pit lane.
I think
I think
that's
he'll get a penalty. I think
Why?
he hit 81 a few times too often. No, he doesn't, but tricky. Because when you shift, the car jumps forward slightly. So you go slightly quicker through the pit lane with about like 81. You hit 81, but it seems that he got away with it. But it's tricky. I don't know if it's worth it. Go ahead.
Sorry, Martin Gosby got past Robin Panzer. Robin Panzer is still out, and now Morcek is probably going to be getting past Robin because Robin is not stupid. He knows the team game. These two teams, both ACR and ACR Blue, are leading the Constructors' Championship. So for the team, there's no reason to hold Morcek up. But as I was saying just before Michael came in the pit, I think Robin is doing the reverse of Yerne because he also tried to do the qualifying on the softs, but he didn't have the alien pace that Yerne has and couldn't make it work. So he was in, I think, P13, starting on those medium tyres. But if he can go another 8 laps, he can basically do the opposite to what Yerne's just done.
Yeah, the only problem for him is that he has the quick drivers of Callas, Lukacek, Fournier, all the drivers with fresh tires behind him. He doesn't have the gap to save his tires, really. He has to push to keep either these drivers behind or lose time when they get past him.
Yeah, he doesn't have the track position that Yerne did, because Yerne was miles up the road, so he is in track position and he's just got to wait for them to make a pit stop and drop behind. Whereas Panzer, he's already fighting these guys when Yerne didn't have to fight anyone at all in his stint.
Yep. It's a difficult spot for him to be in.
Sock retired.
I guess he did in the pits.
Suspension. But that it will say suspension if he has any sort of suspension damage. That might not be the actual reason why he DNF'd. I think he just parked it from the look of it. Oh, actually, to be honest, his steering wheel was miles out. Now, where is Ron Panzer? Oh god, he's miles behind his 2 teammates. But he's kind of got to commit to it now, unless he goes double super soft from here, but then everyone around him is only making 1 more pit stop, so he really has to commit to this now. Not the best position to be in. This will be difficult for him for the next maybe 10 laps, or just under, but he does need to commit to this.
Right, so Callas probably will be getting the overtake here down the Wellington Straight. Gets the DRS and the slipstream. Maybe a bit too far back. Could do a dive, but doesn't do so into Brookland. A little bit of oversteer on the exit coming out of left field there. Doesn't help him. Still catching the Panzer. A lot of catching coming up to Cops and lost a lot of time there because he was so close. Had a lot of dirty air. Now needs to watch out for Wojciech Lukacek a little bit.
Do you think, Felix, that this is the turn for Sander Kallas? His season started with P9, DNF, DNF, DNF. And then last time he's P2. Today he's in a net P3 at this moment. Maybe P4 after Ifeanyi does a one-stop. Do you think this is the turn for him this season? He's definitely had the pace. He's the Ace champion of 2017. He almost won a race after he moved up from Ace to WC in 2017 as well. He had some good races last year, but he's never had that consistency. Do you think that this is his time to be near the front every race?
I don't know. Like you said, he has the pace to win races. But his consistency is or has been lacking often. But I don't know if he can get it together. He definitely this might be a turning point as he's about to look up the inside of Panzer coming into Corps. Makes the move stick there. Great stuff for Sander Kallas. But yeah, it could be a turning point, but it's difficult to say at this point, really. If he gets 2 races, a good result, sure, that's great for him. But really talking about consistency then is maybe a bit too soon. Let's say after another 5 races, if he then still consistently gets like top 5, then I would say, yeah, sure. He's doing a lot better job compared to last season's.
Yes, so last year he finished behind Martin Gosby, and everyone knows that last year Martin Gosby had a really difficult season, and he finished behind him because he only had 5 points finishes the whole season, including a P2. So he's certainly not the most consistent driver in the world, but on his day he is very quick. And in the 2017 World Championship, he ended up doing 6 races that season, despite winning the Ace Championship that year as well, and 2 of them were podiums as well. So he certainly got the talent, and I just hope for the future that he can be a bit more consistent and push that Netrex team forward, because Netrex haven't had too much success in the last few years, and it would be good to see them more consistently at the front, being one of the longest reigning teams. In fact, I think they are now the longest reigning team in
years, if I'm correct.
Yes, I don't think they've been in FSR that long.
No,
but
FSR doesn't exist that long.
Yeah, because the team boss, Ernesto De Angelis, he was the 2nd ever Formula Sim Racing World Champion back in 2001, and he didn't race with Netrex, so I assume the team was made afterwards. But yeah, they've been around for a long time, and it would be good to see them back at the front more consistently, which is what Kallas is trying to do.
Lukacek getting past Robin Panzer, at least trying to do so. Panzer defending hard from him. I would say it's almost definite now that Panzer is also trying to do the one-stop strategy. Only 25 laps to the end, so we're over halfway. 25 laps should be doable with a set of soft tires, as we've seen Simoncic do at least 20 in his first stint. But let's see what happens. Lukacek will have the DRS, Panzer will not here coming down the Wellington Straight.
Looking further back at P11, we've got 3 cars battling down into Brooklands. Giordano Valiano is going to get overtaken by both John Lacey's round the outside. That is amazing from Patel and Dylan Scrivens. Dylan taking the opportunity and following Patel around the outside. That is a wonderful move by Dylan Scrivens. I'm glad I clicked on that battle, because that's one of the best overtakes I've seen in a long time from the reserve driver. Dylan stepping in for last year's champion, Michaela D'Alessandro. But yeah, wow, that was an awesome move by Dylan. He's obviously here as a reserve. He's not in the points currently, so he is just out there having some fun and making moves like that. You can see why. I'm sure Valeriano didn't know what hit him when he saw those two cars. And now Patel is trying to go around the outside of Ricardo Costa, so this could be 2 positions in 1 lap for Mohamed Patel. And Ricardo Costa makes a pit stop. Who else is in the
Valeriano
pits?
as well.
Oh, Danny van der Neet as well.
Yep. Second phase of pit stops happening now. I guess a lot of drivers will go to a set of
35 laps to the end. That
24,
could be...
by the way.
Oh, 24, yeah. My bad, good counting. So yeah, that'll definitely be a possibility for these drivers. So double mediums for these guys. So where are we? Simoncic is 10 seconds off the lead. So at the moment, Martin Gosby will have to catch up 10 seconds, give or take, in... Well, it's actually 11 seconds now. So Martin Gosby will have to catch up about 8-9 seconds in probably about 13-14 laps.
To be honest,
That could be possible.
I think it could be possible. I don't know if Simoncic is as safe as he would like to be. I mean, considering Gosby will probably take a set of soft, maybe even super soft. I think soft most likely at the end of the race. He'll be probably a second, maybe more a lap quicker. He will beat that for at least about 10 laps. So we could gain theoretically 10 seconds to Simoncic. Right now the gap between him and Gosby is only about 11 seconds. So it's only 9 seconds to gain for him if you say it's about 20 seconds for a pit stop. So
yeah, we'll see. Gosby may have to do double mediums or medium soft. So if he is on one of those tyres, he won't gain quite as much. So we'll have to see. And Yerne is just kind of sitting behind this pack because he doesn't really want to fight these guys and lose time. So it's a bit of a difficult one for him. But certainly Martin Gosby is not, even Darren Mocek is not out of the contention for this race victory. And Robin Panzar is now 10 seconds off those two teammates, just showing how newer tyres... Oh, Peter Berlek, bit of contact there with Jeff Fournier, and teammate I think he just managed to miss Patel, but that is a free position for Fournier and Simoncic. I don't know if there was any sort of malice there. We'll have to get a quick replay on this one, see what happened. There's a small bit of contact on the apex, but it looks like a bit of a racing incident. Jeff was all on the inside as well. That's a bit of a shame for Berliak. Lost a couple of positions. Now Simoncic is coming up to Jeff Fournier.
yeah, also Scrivens closing into Peter Berliak, who comes into the pit lane, so doesn't make a difference.
So Lukacek, Berlak and Fournier all in the pit lane, taking, unsurprisingly, the medium tyres. 22 laps to the end. That should be nice and simple for those guys.
Panzer still hasn't pitted. 22 laps to go. I guess it would be smart for him to go soon, because he is only 1.5 seconds in front of Simoncic.
Yeah, the issue is that Yerne did 20 laps. I know that was heavier fuel, so it's still going to be slow for him at the end either way. So I just don't think this was the best strategy from Robin Panzar, unfortunately.
Now he will be dropping down to...
Oh, who's that in the background? Mohamed Patel, well off at Copse Corner. And Patel still needs to make his second pit stop, doesn't he? Yeah. So Simoncic is in a really good position, but he's now 13.5 seconds off Martin Gosby. This could get spicy when Gosby pits. He is actually not going to be too far behind. Callas pits and Robin
Callas.
Panzer pit. So I assume Panzer will be on the soft tyres because he has to, because you have to use 2 different compounds. But Callas will choose those mediums. And there we go. So where is Callas going to come out?
Pretty clean air behind Michael Ayres.
Ayres still needs to make pit stop. Behind them, we've got Stephen Michaels with a bit of a train behind him. Danny Vantony going down the inside and, not quite contact. So these two guys giving a hard race. And there's actually no contact there. That was brilliant stuff, but that's slowed Steve down and he's going to be swamped here by Ricardo Costa. And will Lukaszek get involved as well? Not quite, but Costa will go through there. And, a bit of contact there, which means Fournier is now going to get past Lukaszek and possibly even Steve as well. That was a good opportunistic move from the Frenchman. And now we got Lukaszek getting past Steve as well. So unfortunately for Steve, he's lost 4 places in those couple of corners. Oh, and we got the 2 ACRs of Gosby and Mrocek in. So this is crucial for where they come out. They could get stuck behind Daniel Kish and Eric Andre if they are not careful, which will slow them down a lot regarding catching up. Yoni Simčić, but Robin Panzer now also gets past Stephen Michaels, so I wouldn't be surprised if Steve is pitting soon. So, where are the 2 ACRs coming out? They're obviously behind Simčić. They are behind
Eric Andre.
Yes, so that's good for
him.
Gosby. That's good for Gosby. He only has to overtake 1 car, but Mrocek will need to overtake 2. And Eric obviously still needs to pit, but not quite yet. And we'll see if Mrocek can get past Eric Andre, which he does, because Eric didn't actually get DRS apparently.
Simčić is about to find Dylan Scrivens on the track. Last time these 2 drivers met on track didn't end very well for Simčić. So let's hope it goes well this time around.
And Mohammed Patel retired on that last lap as well. So not the best race for the 2017 champion, and it has just got even worse for him with a DNF.
Let's see what Simčić is doing. I think he's just trying to keep within the DRS of Scrivens and not really push too much. The gap between him and Gosby is right now 4 seconds. 3 seconds only, actually. So it's I don't know if Simčić will be able to do it. Still 19 laps to go.
I think Gosby can do this. And Mrocek now is getting past Kish as well. Well, actually, he doesn't quite have the top speed. But he's got the brakes. He definitely has the brakes set on Daniel Kish. Danny's trying to hold it on the inside, but Mrocek with the superior tyres on the outside. So these 2 drivers of Gosby and Mrocek, I think, are going to be absolutely hunting down Yerne. And with 19 laps to go, I think they will gobble him up. But the real question is when, because if they push too hard, they may end up spinning or throwing their tyres or something along those lines. So they do have to be careful, but it should be possible for them. Simčić wasn't quite quick enough in that stint, being stuck behind all those other drivers. And just to show how bad the race has been for Panzer, in some ways he's in 12th place, which to be honest was roughly where he qualified, but he just hasn't gained anything trying this strategy, and he will lose time towards the end of this race as well when his tyres fall off. So maybe this one stop wasn't quite the best idea. It was in China, And China, we had the hard tyres. The hard tyres are just even more bulletproof than these mediums. So that's why he could make it work, but today, not sure about the mediums. But either way, we will wait to see. So last lap around, Rodger and Gosby half a second quicker. So yes, they will certainly catch.
Perhaps SimRacing has saving a bit of fuel here behind Dylan Scrivens, saving a bit of tires as well, and we'll start to pick the pace right now with Gosby behind him. But perhaps, maybe not. Maybe he's just not having the pace at the moment.
One thing is with fuel this year is you don't really need to save. Last year we had 7 mixtures, so you could easily sit behind someone in the 7th mixture and save a lot. But this year there's only 2 mixtures, and you can pretty much get to the end on mix 2 anyway. So unless you've underfueled or something like that, fuel shouldn't really be an issue. Especially as he's been in DRS for a number of laps now, he just saved a little bit. So I doubt he's purposefully staying there. And yeah, Gosby and Rodger are actually not too far behind now, so, and they got DRS even. So this is not going to be too many laps. Oh, Burlack DNF as well. This has not been a good race for Edge and John Lacey Esports. They are sister teams, and they obviously weren't best prepared for this race because 2 DNFs so far, and there are 2 drivers not in the best positions because Kish still needs to make a pit stop, and so does Scrivens, so they may be out of the points. There's a bit of a sad day for those 2 teams, but we'll see how that plays out. And now Gosby is actually closer to SimRacing than SimRacing is to Dylan Scrivens. And when will Dylan make a pit stop? Let's have a look. He pit on lap 20. Yeah, so he's got another 5 laps to go, at least. And this is not going to help SimRacing at all. And Gosby is coming. He won this race 2 years ago in a slightly mixed condition race, and he was helped a little bit by Patel had a disconnection, and D'Alessandro had a crash with, I think, Valeriano, which helped him on his way that day. But the only thing that will help him today is himself and his driving to defend from one teammate and overtake the other.
So the ACR hunting down Dylan Scrivens, Gosby hunting down his teammate Jone Simončić.
One thing that is crazy is that, excluding Jos Araneda because he had a spin, last place on track in the actual race is Stephen Michaels, and he's only 23 seconds off the lead after 36 laps, just showing how close this field is still. And even there's a bit of a jump ahead, so the whole field is really just like a second or so apart for each driver. It's pretty crazy how close this race has been. Obviously certain drivers still need to make a pit stop, but it's good to see how close the whole field is. But that is that's one thing that Silverstone brings. There's only 2 slow corners, which are these 2, turn 3 and 4. The rest of it is fast corners, and you can't really lose too much time in fast corners, which brings some amazing racing.
Alright, so everybody still not making much moves. Played like big, everybody just slotting in behind Dylan Scrivens at the moment. Gosby perhaps also, usually these are teammates, so Gosby perhaps just playing it a bit smart, maybe saving a bit of fuel just in case. Maybe saving his tires a bit so he can push a bit longer at the end of the race. He obviously knows that Simon-Cic will have to do another 15 laps on this set of tires, and it won't be easy for him.
So Daniel Kish and Eric Andre in the pits. Two of the last people to make a pit stop. Then we just got Michael Ayres and Dylan Scrivens after that. We got, 15 laps to go. Soft tyres for both drivers. And Eric with actually a slightly faster pit stop. But these drivers, unfortunately for them, are going to be out of the points. In P13 and 14 for now. But maybe if they're quick enough, they could potentially catch for the tail end of the points at the end of the race. Now, one of the questions is what will ACR do? Because they do have a big gap in the championship, and they obviously want the main team to win. Because it would be a bit funny if your sister team wins. So I wonder if David Mojek is just going to sit there behind, even if Gosby overtakes. I wonder if Mojek will sit behind Simon-Cic. We will see.
Into the pits goes Dylan Scrivens. Long second stint for him. 14 laps to the end. Probably soft.
Yeah.
Maybe supers, but I don't think they'll risk it.
Ayres in as well.
Alright. Softs for Scrivens.
Oh, that's going to be a close release because Michael's pit stop is down the end, but there's enough for him. And I think Gosby, I think we need to look at Gosby. I think now that Simon-Cic doesn't have that DRS, this could be the lap. Or at least the lap that he sets himself up. Get close.
We shouldn't forget about Rodger's pace today so far. He's kept up with Gosby pretty much all race. In his debut race, I think. Is it his debut race for World Championship?
No, he did last race.
Right, last race as well. But still, his second race.
I think he did one back in 2017.
All right, but
as well.
Now
but
he's officially.
It's pretty much it's pretty much his debut race. But he is sitting second in the Pro Championship, at least before the results today. On Gosby's here. Gosby, this is going to be the move for the race. There's going to be nothing that Yeti can do.
I think he even let him by.
Possibly. So this could be Gosby's first win in exactly 2 years. It was his first pole position in almost 2 years. And now it could be his first win as well. And I do wonder what they're going to do with Mojek. I do wonder. I hope they let them race, but it would also make sense if they let the main team get a 1-2. But it doesn't. It doesn't look like that. Mojek is certainly going for this because he actually, I guess, wants to get the win as well. Considering the win is only 100 meters ahead of him, and yeah, he's going to get past here. It looks like he's using some quali boost or something like that. Tons of extra overspeed, and now it's just a straight fight between Mojek and Gosby. And to be honest, even Sander Kallas could catch Simon-Cic if he goes too slowly.
Yeah, 4 seconds between them, 12 laps. I guess it could be possible. What's Kallas' pace though? Last lap for Kallas was a 30.7, which is 8th tenths quicker than what Simonic did, so possibly.
Got Jos Araneda getting out of the way. Unfortunately for him, he's going to be a lap down today after that incident with Kirill Burikov back on lap 15 of this race. He's letting all three of them by nicely. But that gave Gosby a little bit of slips, a little bit DRS actually. So that helped him defend on this lap. But we now have 11 laps to go of this race, the 6th round of the 2019 Formula SimRacing World Championship. And we have got Martin Gosby leading in the main Avid Chronic Racing team, followed by his sister teammate David Mrocek. And Eric Andre has just made a pit stop, and his last lap was purple on a 29.8. And also Kish and Scrivens have also done 29.8s, but Eric has got it by a couple of thousandths. But he is unfortunately down in P13. However, he's only 3 seconds off the points. So Scrivens, Kish and Andre, with the pace like that, they might be able to get Valeriano. In fact, Dylan Scrivens is. So Dylan Scrivens moves up into the points, and if Kish and Andre play this right, they might be able to try and nick points off each other at the end of this race. As we said before, it only goes to P10. And Jos Araneda is actually holding up Callas this time around. That they actually had a incident just like that last year in qualifying, and Callas actually hit Jos Araneda and got a penalty for that, but no such things this time round, although he does do a little wiggle on the steering wheel. This is good performance from Dylan Scrivens right now, P10, with limited practice. Also limited driving in this car in general. He's only done one race prior to this, which was Montreal in the Pro Championship, and did Pro Championship earlier today as well. Only one round for this, I mean. Though this battle for P5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, 11, 12, 13, they're all so close coming onto this Wellington straight, but there's a little bit of a gap between Lukaszek and Scrivens, so two separate battles here for the final points of this race.
Right. Yeah, like you said, Panzer in this battle for the last couple of points paying positions. Seems that ACR trying that one-stop strategy with two cars, Panzer and Simonic, but for both of them didn't really work out. And I guess he might even lose a position here to Lukaszek coming into Stowe. I think so. No, has the position, managed to keep the corner speed, but Lukaszek is definitely hunting for that position.
The two Oromia cars are having a good race again in P5 and P7. There's still their debut year, remember, in the World Championship. They only did Ace and Pro last year. Now I'm moving up to the World Championship with two very good drivers. Prost, I think, got a podium last year actually in a reserve race for Twister for moving to Oromia full time for this year. They're having a good race. Yeah, they're having a good race right now in P5 and P7. They're a little bit stuck there though. Callas is miles up the road.
Yeah, you have
Jeff.
to give props to Van der Niet as well. I think it might be even one of his best finishes in the World Championship so far. See if I can find out. Because top 6 Definitely not something that a lot of drivers finish at often. His best position in the World Championship is actually P10. So definitely a personal best for Danny van der Niet if he manages to finish where he is right now. But there are still 8 laps to go. Anything can happen. Now Kalash. Last lap was a 30.6, Simoncic 30.0. So I don't think Kalash is really gonna be able to do anything to Simoncic. The ACRs are just plotting in with each other, giving each other a bit of slipstream, pulling each other along to just protect themselves from any other team. They have been dominant this season so far. And dominant this race. Maybe not with Jurne Simoncic, as his strategy didn't really work out. I guess if he had chosen to do the same strategy as Gosby and Morcek, he might have been even further up the road than... or he might have been further up the road, leading the race. Obviously that's something that we really can't say if it didn't happen. Van der Niet still trying to get past Costa.
We've got a big battle for P11. We've got Kish, Valeriano, Ayres and Andre. Ayres overtook Andre a couple of laps ago. Unfortunately, there's no points for this, but if someone gets ahead of this, they might be able to try and catch Dylan Scrivens for the last points. It's quite a big battle for, even though there's no points for these positions. And in FSR, WC, oh, Andre getting up the inside of Ayres. So Andre's got that place back in turn number 4, and we'll now have DRS as well to defend. So Michael Ayres is going to try it, I think, down the inside to Brooklands, and yeah, though that's crazy considering, as I said, there's no points. But in FSR WC, the prizes are actually for points as well. So these guys aren't even fighting for prize, getting these points. All pride and
Ayres and Andre both off. Very close to each other coming into Maggots and Beckett's. It seems that Michael is struggling a little bit on this set of tires. Dylan Scrivens is catching Wojciech Lukacek on his soft tires compared to the mediums of Lukacek. Perhaps Scrivens might be able to get another point here for the Jean ADC Sports Academy. Obviously they haven't had a good race. Mohamed Patel DNF. Last race 2 DNFs, both Michele and Mohamed DNF there. So a little bit of a upside here for Dylan Scrivens and the Jean ADC Esports team. As Eric Andre is now starting to put pressure on Valeriano coming into Brooklands. Very close. They got almost the wheels touching there. But they managed to get through it cleanly. Ayres now also back on the gearbox of an Eric Andre. Carlos trying to pick up the pace a little bit, as he's just done a personal best lap. Last lap, 30.1 compared to 30.1 from Simoncic, so not much change. And this lap he did a 30.1 again. So again, Kalash not gaining, not losing much to Simoncic and the ACR drivers. Rodger, though, he is in the slipstream of Martin Gosby for pretty much the whole race. Do you think he might, even though if the ACR regular, the ACR of Chronic, the main team, who benefit from getting the win, do you think he might be able to at least try and get that win?
I think they're just going to let him do it, because Edge aren't really getting points today. In fact, they won't. John Lacey won't get any points today. Armia are only going to get a few points, so they are going to be miles ahead in the championship. And let's see why not. I mean, Rodger's coming. He's won a couple of races in Pro. He had a good race last time out in Paul Ricard, if I remember, as a replacement.
Yeah, 8th.
So he's just coming. He's here to race. And I don't see any reason why they would force Gosby to win, because I know Martin's also one of those people who wants to win on merit. He doesn't want to win by being given the win. And considering how close Rodger is, I'm assuming he's actually going to be fighting this.
So 4 laps, including this one.
I'm surprised how Simoncic is kept on the back of these drivers, to be honest. I think that is pretty good going. It's a shame that he didn't quite have pace to hold off a little bit longer, but I mean, he is now a second and a half quicker than at the start of this stint. I would assume just because of the fuel load coming off. So we have only got 3 laps to go, so maybe he's pushing a little bit more. Try and potentially go for this win himself, whether it's going to be difficult to re-overtake his 2 teammates. And the gaps this time around were literally the same as what the gaps were last time around, so they're obviously all similar paced.
Yeah, this might still change. 3 laps. Rodger is close to Gosby. With the DRS, able to stay very close to him, but not really able to make any moves. Perhaps he's just waiting to do it at the last possible moment, so Gosby doesn't have the time to retaliate, doesn't have the time to make the overtake back on him again afterwards. So maybe we'll do it next lap or the lap after that. It's gonna be difficult though. I mean, like you said, Gosby, he is an experienced driver. He likes to win races. And Rodger is definitely somebody that is, well, I wouldn't say a rookie, but new to the World Championship. And it isn't easy to win a race.
Oh, what happened to Dylan Scrivens? He was in P10, he has now dropped down to P14, and this has put Daniel Kish in a points-paying position. And Eric Andre is only a couple of seconds behind as well. And Michael Ayres and Valeriano, with their battling, have dropped off the back of this. So if something happens ahead, Eric might be able to get a point for flag to flag.
Yeah, I think Scrivens made contact with Michael Ayres or Lukacek, perhaps. Probably Lukacek. But let's stay focused on this lead battle. Rodger only has 1 lap after this one. So if he wants to make the move, he needs to do it rather quickly.
He was only 2/10 behind in the last sector. Let's see what he is at this one.
4, 5.
Martin gets a good exit though, and he's defending. It's great to see teammates battling though. Sadly, we haven't seen them side by side yet, but Mocek is certainly in a position to make a move as we come onto this final lap of the race. These 51 laps so far have absolutely flown by. Different strategies, close racing, and we are now onto this final lap of this race. Can Gosby take the second win in 3 years at this circuit, or can Mocek get his first ever win in the World Championship?
Right, this is the point of the track where we've seen the most overtakes. Down the Wellington straight. I think he's a bit too far back to do anything. 4/10, 5/10. Closes in, but not enough. This
will all be about the hangar straight, and whoever gets the best exit. I mean, even Sivicic is close enough that if something happens...
For sure.
Okay, is he going for it here? I don't think this is the place to do it. He needs to stay close out the dirty air. Yes, he's done that. He's taken a good line. He needs to stay close enough that he doesn't... Oh, no! Oh, that is not the place to do it. We saw Patel and Simoncic. Patel and D'Alessandro.
Watch Simoncic.
Yeah, we saw Patel and D'Alessandro teammates have contact on the last lap last year. None of that this year, but Mocek, yeah, he tried it in the wrong place. And that was not the place that was going to get the win of this race.
No, too much on the
tires. Yeah, tyres are dead. So I think this is going to be Martin Gosby to take his first win since this race in 2017. It is coming around the final corner. Martin Gosby will win his first race in 2 years, followed by his teammates of David Mocek and Yerni Simoncic. Absolutely dominant performance by the Avikronic Racing blue team here. So Yerni Simoncic will not get a 6th win in 6 races. He will have to settle for 3rd place today. Then Sander Callis will get 4th. Ricardo Costa will get 5th, followed by Danny Vandeny and Jeff Fournier. Robin Panzer, Wojciech Lukaszek and Daniel Kish getting the last point. Narek Andre in 11th place. Michael Ayres on his first race this year in P12. Good race from him. Baliano P13. Dylan Scrivens with that spin in P14. And Stephen Michaels with lacking a bit of pace today, down in P15. And Jos Araneda, the only driver a lap down after that contact with Kirill Birakov. But what a race that was from those ACR guys. Absolutely dominant, but it was not Yerni Simoncic.
Yeah. Simoncic not able to get 6 out of 6, but it has been some race. Martin Gosby taking his first victory of the season. It is in total, how much victories has he done? 2, or has he done 1 before this in Silverstone? Not entirely sure. Let's have a quick check, but a great race for Gosby. Gosby has only finished once before, so this is his 2nd win in the World Championship. Great stuff from the British driver. Obviously at home ground in Silverstone here.
This is his 2nd.
Yeah,
third. Because he's 3rd because he won Imola 2014 as well. Back in the day when the mod had so much dirty air, and with it being Imola, he could defend.
Okay.
And he also won this race, I think, 2013 or something like that. So he does have some good record. I can't remember if that was World Championship or not, but he's definitely got some good record at this track.
Right. So, yeah, great stuff for him. Mocek, amazing 2nd race of the World Championship here. 2nd place, definitely not a bad position to be in, fighting for the win. Simoncic in P3, still a good result for him. Obviously tried to do that interesting strategy, the 1-stop, just didn't really work out for him. Maybe next time we will win again. I don't know. His pace is absolutely stunning this first 6 races of the season. And ACR Avikronic Racing really showing the rest of the field how to race, how to be quick, and absolutely dominant here. as we move to the Discord channel to hopefully get some driver interviews here, obviously with the world championship leader Jone Simoncic, also the winner of today, Martin Gosby, as we just wait for them to join us. Let's start off with Martin Gosby. Second win here at Silverstone. First win of the season. How does it feel?
It feels very good, but it's a tough one. It wasn't easy, and of course there's Yone doing his usual stuff and being fast and saving tires at the same time. But yeah, this is good.
Yeah, obviously we saw you taking the two-stop strategy compared to the one-stop strategy of Simoncic. Going into the race, I guess you knew Simoncic were gonna try the one-stop. Why did you not choose to do so? Did you expect it not to be as quick, or weren't you able to do it?
I don't think I would have been able to do it myself. So a couple of days ago, I said I'm doing a two-stop and that's it, because I don't know how Yone does it. He was a 10th off me with a harder compound tyre in qualifying. So yeah, I kind of set my mind for a two-stop, and that was it really.
Yeah, great stuff, obviously from Yone. You saw coming in, or at least the last laps in the race, you saw Rodger getting really close behind you. Were you worried, or were you controlling the situation quite well?
I wouldn't say I was controlling it, no. I was sweating a little bit, to say the least, especially the last couple of laps, because I just didn't want to use too much boost and kill the engine, and I was also close to hitting the cliff on the front left tyre to slow me down, which will slow me down a lot more.
Right, yeah. So I guess great job on getting that victory with a very, very close margin. We saw Rodger trying to make the move on the last lap into to Maggots and Beckett. I guess you fended it off quite well.
It was a tough one to judge because I was just going in the middle. I was hoping he wouldn't put his nose anywhere, because that could have ended badly for all three of the ACR cars. But yeah, it worked out.
Yeah, we've seen it happen before last year between the back then Musto Racing drivers. Yeah, again, great job, Martin. Let's hope you can keep up this pace. Now you've switched to the main team of Avid Chronic Racing.
Thank you. I'm sure it will be back to reality in the next race of Yone, but thanks.
Right. So, David, second place in your, I believe, second race in the World Championship. How do you feel?
Hi everyone. Yeah, so basically, I'm quite happy. Of course, I had advantage of the DRS for the basically whole the race, so it was quite easy to keep up with the Martin. But yeah, then at the last stint, I realized that maybe I can even get a go to win this race, but well, as you can see, it was quite close on the last lap. But yeah, nice fight.
Yeah, definitely, great job. Doing the practice for the race beforehand, obviously you kind of had an idea how your pace was compared to Simoncic, Gosby, Panzer. Did you expect to be on the podium or even battling for the lead?
Yeah, I knew I had a quite good pace compared to other guys, but for me the crucial part of the weekend was the qualifying, because I know that it's not my strong, well, let's say skill to qualify good, but this time before. So at this moment, I knew that I will be in the DRS of the leaders. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. Great job. Once again, I mean, I don't think there are a lot of drivers that can say in FSR that they finished on the podium in their second race of a season. So again, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I would like to congratulate Jerne for amazing stint on the mediums, and of course Martin. He totally deserved it because he didn't have a DRS for the most of the race as I did, but he still managed to win this. So
Yep.
Great.
Yeah, great job. Now, Jerne, why did you choose the one stop?
Well, maybe because I'm like a little bit stupid or something. I don't know. Because I was thinking about the strategies, and with triple DRS zones, which I have no idea why are we using them, because every race is basically a train fest, which I don't like. But yeah, I knew that it would be much harder to pass than in previous races, like Paul Ricard. So I thought that I could do like soft medium, avoiding all the mess and avoiding all the like driving in front of the trains, or being fighting for P2 of a train. So I just thought that maybe I could try. And then I saw the quali pace on softs was like 3/10 slower than on super softs, uh, which is always then again risky on Silverstone because the pace in quali is always very close. And then we just like arranged a little bit of a slipstream fest during qualifying, which was not nice, and it put me into what was I P2 even. I had no idea how did that happen, but okay, I expected to be like P6, P5, and then in the race, the reality striked me, or however the English is, but yeah, I thought they would catch up with me in the last 5 laps, but with 15 laps to go, even though I had a lot of DRS assistance from the guys in front, Martin and David still caught me, and then I had nothing else than try to stay behind them. But yeah, for 20 laps I had like 1.5% front left tire, so I had plenty of rubber left to push to stay in the DRS.
Right. Yeah. So pretty good explanation there. Do you think if you had done the two-stop strategy, I guess it's a bit difficult to say, but would you have won the race?
Well, sitting here now, I think I would be either P1 or P2.
Right.
But before the race, I had no clue how the trains are going to be, because like Martin could easily got stuck behind some triple DRS train after his first pit stop, but I think trains just dispersed a little bit, so he could pass everybody with relative ease. I have to check the broadcast again, but yeah, at the end of the day, yeah, I'm happy with P3.
Yeah, definitely. So next round, Germany coming up. What do you expect from that?
Probably one of the tracks that I like the least. I really dream about going through the forest at 370, but sadly it's likely to never gonna happen again.
Yeah.
It's really sad, but it is what it is. So I hope for another podium, I guess. But the fun races come later in the summer, like Hungaroring, Singapore, Suzuka, and stuff. So that will be a little bit better. But yeah, again, I wanted to say that. Did you know that my best position race in Silverstone was in 2013, and it was P5. And so some people will know what happened with Martin in that race. If not, check that race. But
All right.
yeah. So now we are P1 and P3. So I guess we both like came to the terms with the history.
Yeah. Well, congratulations to obviously both of you. Biggest congratulations, at least for now, go out to Martin Gosby. But still, Simoncic, you're still leading the championship by quite a big margin. So congrats on that. Thank you all three of you to join us here in the commentary booth.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
And as we then, I guess, start to close off for today, it's been a hectic race, different strategies again being tried by different drivers. Some working out, some not working out as well. Next. Oops. Next race is going to be the 7th of July, round number 7 at the Hockenheim Ring German Grand Prix. Make sure you tune in for that as well. We'll be back with the Academy, with the Pro and the World Championship. For now, I'm done talking. Cameron, do you have anything to say still?
No, just yeah, we'll hopefully have a good race next time in Hockenheim, and we will see you then.
Yeah. So thanks everybody for watching. Thanks to all the drivers for giving us the spectacle today, and everybody else behind the scenes. Big thank you, and I hope to see everybody back the 7th of July for the German Grand Prix. Until then, take care.
Hey man, I got that new 10 Max Thrustmaster wheel. It's going down.
Xbox One.
I can't wait to play when I get home.
You'll let me play?
Yeah, I play first. Yeah.
No, I'll race it for it.
Well, I have behind me.